गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय पंचतत्वा जय पंचतत्वा जय गौरनित्याय जय गौरनित्याय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय शील प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर भगवान की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। थैंक यू माता जी।
हरे कृष्णा माता जी। थैंक यू अनुसुया माता जी। हरि बोल। माता जी hasn't joined yet. Anyone else? Mata ji, Deepa Mata ji, or someone else, like whomsoever.
Hare Krishna Mata ji, Dandot Pranam.
Yeah, sorry. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Deepa Mata ji.
Mata ji has joined. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mata ji has joined.
No, Hare Krishna Mata ji. Now she can do the kirtan, Mata ji. It's okay.
Okay, fine, Mata ji. Yeah. Deepa Mata ji, yeah. You can sing the kirtan for 2-3 minutes and then Mata ji will start.
Yeah, Mata ji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरुदेव की जय। हरे कृष्णा, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Deepa Mata ji. Hari bol. Hare Krishna Mata ji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Pranam Mataji.
Pranam, thank you.
Over to you, Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, welcoming you all to the Nityam Bhagavata daily Bhagavatam class. So today we are continuing with chapter 3. Canto 3, chapter 1. So we'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtake Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripātam aham vande Shri Gurum Dīnatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat Om Ajnana Dimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namom Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshutarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you are sharing or you want me to share, Mataji?
If you can share, Mataji, otherwise I can ask with the past participants also.
Please.
You can ask. You can share. Sorry.
I can share. Mataji.
Okay. Then it's fine, Mataji.
Yeah. Mataji, you have to make me the host or co-host.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Please mute. Thank you. Questions by Vidura, Canto 3, Chapter 1. Right? All questions are glorious. We saw how Arjuna's questions were glorious, and then how it benefited not. Arjuna asked because we, as conditioned souls, don't know what to ask. In the same way, even in the first canto, first chapter, question by the sages. Sukadev Goswami is so happy with the questions by Parikshit Maharaj, and then eventually the questions by the sages to Sutta Goswami. So here, now this chapter of the third canto is questions by Vidura. So we see how glorious it is. Why? Because it has to be applied by all of us, and then take our Krishna consciousness forward. So we'll start with the 11th shloka. Vasudha Mataji will read the shloka and Radhika Mataji will read the translation.
Mataji, I'll do the shloka, either this or mixed. That's okay. Hare Krishna, Radhika.
Okay. Vasudha Mataji can read the shloka and Anasuya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Anasuya Mataji can read the translation. Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam Mataji. Ajata satro pratiyachadhayam titiksato durvisaham tavagha sahanujo yatra vrikodharahi swasan rusayatvam alam bibheshi. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Pranam Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vidura said, We must now return the legitimate share to Yudhishthira, who has no enemies and who has forbearing through untold sufferings due to your offenses. He is waiting with his younger brothers, among whom is the revengeful Bhima, breathing heavily like a snake. Surely you are afraid of him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now Vidura, like Chanakya Niti, Vidura Niti is also very very famous in the sense, you know, he always was very neutral. I mean, I'm saying is always on the path of dharma. It did not matter whether they were his relatives or friends or enemies. If he called a right, right? Now we'll see who exactly Vidura is. Maybe this was touched upon. I'm just kind of giving a quick brief who Vidura was. So Vidura is whose Amsha, or Vidura is who actually? Anybody? Any guesses?
Yamaraj Mataji.
Yamaraja. Correct, Yamaraja. So there was this once one Manduka Rishi, who is a very great Rishi, and it so happened that once he was caught. He was somehow along with some thieves, and the king there, when they caught the king's soldiers in that place, when they caught the soldiers, they caught this Manduka Rishi, and then all of them were put in jail. And then because they were thief, you know, those whatever rules were there, the thieves were punished, and Manduka Rishi especially was punished in a way that he had to be, you know, this spear. He had to be pierced by a sharp spear. Now, Manduka Rishi was wondering, what is it why am I getting? And then the king comes to know that Manduka Rishi is being imprisoned wrongly and other things, and then he releases him. So Manduka Rishi, being a great Rishi, he asks Yamaraj, after he is released, he asks Yamaraj, why is this punishment for me? So Yamaraj says, whatever one performs, that reaction one has to partake. So, and he says, as a child, you you took a sharp stick and poked the ants. So because of that, you had to face this reaction. Now Manduka Rishi gets very angry in the sense, you know, he says, as a child, I was very unaware of such things, right? And for that, giving me a punishment like this is very, what to say, is not right. So he curses Yamaraja to become, is to be born as a Shudra. And that is how he is born as Vidura, And that's how his niti, you know, whatever he says is so much as per dharma, because Yamaraja is Dharmaraya. So, and then Yamaraja says, now I take your curse, but then irrespective of the age, now whatever actions, those reactions have to be taken by the person. Now, because Manduka Rishi said this, the Shastra says up to 5 years, whatever good or bad goes to the father. The reaction up to 5 years. After 5 years, it is taken by the child itself. So now, which should make us very, make us understand why the male member of the house is given importance. Because he takes the karma of the children up to 5 years, and then also of the wife for lifelong. You know, the bad side of the wife, 50% from the wife, the husband takes, and the male member takes. That's why he is given a higher position. Because I'm talking of this because we talk of equality. A lot of people talk of equality, and it is very important for the male member to be Krishna conscious. I mean, whoever is heading the family to be Krishna conscious, because if he is Krishna conscious, he will make the children and wife follow Krishna conscious, and then he will not take, he will not be responsible for taking all the bad reactions. Now, if he is not Krishna conscious, and then the whole family is just a grihamedi instead of a grihastha, instead of a grihastha ashram. He is kind of responsible for that. So that is the reason Shastra gives the Purusha or the men higher importance than women, right? Not because in several aspects, if you see, the women is more sturdy because of the body structure, in the sense, she bears a child and the pain and all that. Yes, the tenacity is more. So each one in their own way, they are stronger, or in whatever roles that Krishna has given. So we should not get, if we are only aware of this knowledge, because all of us are influenced so heavily with this aspect of equality between men and women. Yes, and on a soul platform, definitely equal, yes. But until we are in this body, it is very important for the wife and the children to follow the father. Otherwise, he is going to bear the brunt of it, right? And not only that, if we can recall Parikshit Maharaj's incident, Parikshit Maharaj very happily accepts the curse given by Shringi, because he says, first of all, I am thankful for the curse because I'm going to stop doing sinful actions, and then whatever reactions I have to bear it, and then it is also passed on. I think we had touched on that on this aspect during those chapters, that Parikshit Maharaj in that purport, Srila Prabhupada very nicely elaborates that it is not just our assets and our money and our flat, we are also passing on a part of the good and bad karma to our children, right? So it is that is why Shastra says, who can become a father, who can become a mother, who can become a guru, who can become a king, now if we see the current day politics, they are very happy with whatever they are doing. Without taking any names or anybody as such, Shastra says, if a person is a king, he takes 1/6 of each and every praja, 1/6 of the karma of each and every praja goes to the king, or who is a ruler. So if we are thinking, because most of us have this question, all these people are making so much money and they are enjoying, they are so bad, this, that. But then, in the laws of human, he may escape, but there is definitely no escape in the laws of the Lord, in the laws of nature. It is a different matter whether we may be there or not be there to see their punishment. That is not the criteria. Okay, the criteria is the Lord knows what each of us are doing, and accordingly we will get the reactions. So coming back to the chapter, Vidura is trying to tell his brother Dhritarashtra, who was not just physically blind but also spiritually blind, and then he's trying to warn him what is going to come eventually if he is not going to give at least, Pandavas said give at least 5 villages, right? So and even that Dhritarashtra doesn't say anything, but then whatever Duryodhana says, he's just quiet. And also another thing, if we further shlokas how Duryodhana reacts, if we refer chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, there Duryodhana shows his diplomacy. Prabhupada very nicely writes in that I forget the shloka number. He calls out among the Maharathis, Duryodhana is also glorifying Vikarna. Vikarna was not even a Rati. This Rati, Maharathi, there is how many people they can fight with at a time. That is how these Rati, Maharathi, Ardharati and all this. So Vikarna was not even a Rati, forget Ardharati. But it was only Vidura and Vikarna who opposed Draupadi Vastrahavarana. So he was, that is why he glorifies Vikarna among, great souls like Bhishma, Dronacharya, because Vikarna was nowhere near. And Vidura also was the one who opposed. So I am giving this background to say why Duryodhana, was feeling what we are going to see, that how he's going to burst out about Vidura, because all this was there with him. He was afraid. He knew what kind of a great soul Vidura is, and then he knew Dharma is. He would be on the path of Dharma. He would always support Pandavas. So Vidura, like a true younger brother, a true well-wisher of Dhritarashtra, is trying to say, now, because of your unreasonable attachment to Duryodhana, everybody is going to suffer. So please try to take care. He's trying to tell him. So we'll see what happens next. Yes, Radhika Mataji, you wanted to read the shloka, please.
Sure, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Partam Studevo Bhagavan Mukundo Grihitavan Sakshiti Deva Deva Asate Swapuryam Yadu Deva Devo Vinirjita Shesha Nirdeva Deva. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Sudha Mataji, can you please read the translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, has accepted the sons of Pritha as his kinsmen, and all the kings of the world are with Lord Krishna. He is present in his home with all his family members, the kings and princes of the Yadu dynasty, who have conquered an unlimited number of rulers, and he is their Lord. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So in the purport, and even in the translation, if you see, Vidura is trying to give various reasons to Dhritarashtra to understand the position of the Pandavas. Now, there was a WhatsApp, forward. It says, very beautifully, there is a gopi who is saying, I am yours, Krishna. Rest, everything else is yours. Right? Now, we are seeing, I'm saying this because to understand the position of Krishna, now how powerful he is. And then he is, as a super soul, he knows what each one is thinking, what each one is doing. Then he's also cousin of the Pandavas. Then the Yadu dynasty, they conquered the world. And then, it's not that Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana did not know. Even as a small child, even as just as he was born, like how he, made his way to Gokula, and then how at 3 months killed someone like Putana, Kalia, all these Agasura, but so many. He's trying to kind of tell, what are you trying to fight against? Like there's one saying in Kannada, Gubachi mele Brahmahastra. Gubachi is a sparrow. So, somebody is trying to kill the sparrow with a Brahmastra. You don't need a Brahmastra to kill a sparrow, right? So that is how great, that is how strong Krishna is, right? Then why are you trying to fight against Krishna? If you're fighting against Pandavas, you're going to fight against Krishna, which is like very foolish. So this Acharya was trying to say, what exactly is intelligence? What does it mean to be intelligence? Intelligence means not to listen to the dictates of the mind, because the mind by nature is very negative, and it is material, right? Anything negative that is coming through the mind, and anything positive that is coming, it is coming through the super soul or through Krishna. So the mind is dictating, Dhritarashtra, no, Duryodhana should have been the king, etc., and all that. So what is intelligence? Not to listen to the dictates of the mind, but to listen to the dictates of the Ashadu, Shastra, and Guru. And Krishna consciousness is is a science, and it starts with the basic aspect of what I am not this body, and then who am I? I am the soul. And what is the soul? The soul is a super servant of Krishna. So if we keep on repeating this because we keep on forgetting. So if we remember this, then we will not get into this aspect of trying to listen to the dictates of our mind, because the mind will say, no, you are very good, you are extremely intelligent, extremely powerful. Everything. Maya and the mind have a very nice, nice support of each other to pull us out of Krishna consciousness. So, and then association, Bhagavatam reading, our sadhana, and then chanting, all this will help us to see our true self. And what is our true self? His Holiness Bhakti Damodar Maharaj said, any time you feel like this, just think of the size of the soul. What is the size of the soul? Anybody wants to say?
1/10,000.
10,000 part of the tip of the hair. Tip of the hair.
So this is my size, right? 1/10,000th. If you a tip of the hair, if I cut it into 10,000 parts, one part is me. Now that me is so inconceivable, like how Krishna is inconceivable in his potency, we are inconceivable in our limitations, right? If we keep remembering this, then what happens? Then if our ego is high, or if we are trying to think I'm very great, and if we think of this size, then it puts us back on the ground level, that I am not this body, I am the soul, and as a soul, I'm always dependent on the super soul, right? Nothing, I am not independent of anything. Everything that I do is completely dependent on Krishna. So this will, and this is how Vidura, in various ways, if not so much in words, Vidura was trying to enlighten Dhritarashtra that he should not be fighting against the Pandavas, which is definitely going to be futile for him and for the whole dynasty, right? So we'll see the next one, Shloka 13. Shobha Mataji will read the shloka, please.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, text 13. Sayesho dhosha purusha aste grihan pravisto yam apatya matya ushna shikrishna vimukho gathastris yadyastasayam pulo kaushalaya. Translation?
No, translation Shanti Mataji will read. Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. Shanti Mataji.
Mataji, Shanti Mataji, no?
Yes, Shanti Mataji, please read the translation.
Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You are maintaining offense personified Duryodhana as your infallible son, but he is envious of Lord Krishna. And because you are thus maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. Relieve yourself of this ill fortune as soon as possible and do good to the whole family.
Okay.
Thank
you. What personified? Offense personified. Duryodhana. Vidura is saying, imagine, like no matter how bad our children are, like, we always tend to forgive our children. But then if the same thing is with somebody else, then say, see how it is. I mean, it by nature, where is this coming from? It is coming from Krishna. Why is it coming from Krishna? Because for so many lifetimes we have forgotten Krishna, but then after so many lifetimes, then I want to be Krishna conscious. I want to follow the scriptures. Does Krishna reject us, devotees? Does Krishna reject us?
No, he doesn't
No,
reject
no,
her.
Mataji.
Mataji.
No.
So
No,
in
he
the
doesn't
same,
reject her.
yeah. So in the same way, that quality is coming from Krishna is what I'm saying. He is offense personified. It's not that Dhritarashtra did not know what Duryodhana is doing, right? It definitely he knew what Duryodhana is into, and with his so-called associates of Shakuni and Karna, and then how much he's troubling himself and the whole dynasty. In fact, if you all must try to read the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful example of a person with a blind eye. The blind eye, sometimes when the person is blind, the eyeball it gives a lot of trouble. As it is of no use because he cannot see. But then the eyeball gives trouble. So the doctor advises to take off the eye, right? The eyeball also. Anyway, it was useless, but then on top of it, it is giving trouble also. So in the same way, Vidura is trying to say, you must remove this offense personified. Actually, it is very interesting to know who are born as children. Any cases who are born as our children?
Where are the debtors?
Okay, one is a debtor. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for that.
Enemies,
There are
Mataji.
four. Yeah. Yes. Somebody. Go ahead.
Our enemies, Mataji.
Yes. Enemies, debtor, and then there are four types of people who are born as our children. One is an enemy, one is a debtor, and the third is whatever as per our punya karma, and the fourth, of course, is a devotee child, right? So if we have children who are, we do see. Actually, I had a maid. She worked with us for 20 years. That she used to say that her son, she used to often say he was so bad. She said he must be my enemy, or he must have been my enemy. I used to wonder how this is. Then when reading Bhagavatam and hearing lectures, they say the enemy is born as your child, so that that reaction, whatever in previous births, she probably was his enemy, and then to nullify that, then he is born his enemy. So it is which should give us a lesson that we should not have any enemies, right? Otherwise, we are born as their children, or they are born as our children. Of course, the whole idea is not to be born again, but at least we should know this, right? Next is a debtor. Now we do see some children, they just blow money, irrespective whether the parents have money, they don't have it, they just go on making so many loans. I know a devotee and the son, crores. It is not just in thousands, crores, and it just doesn't stop. So a debtor, the previous birth, probably the devotee had taken debt from that person and then not returned it. So born as a son. And then, of course, if people have done punya karma, then they are born. Punya karma in the sense, they materially they take care of the parents and then the family and everything. And of course, the topmost is the devotee, a devotee child who not only practices devotion, and also liberates the parents because of the devotional service. Now, I'm going to digress a little on this aspect, because we should know this aspect of how children are born and what is the mood that we should be in, right? We had touched upon this on Garbhadana Samskara, right? After the child is born, there is the difficulty is more to make the child into a devotee, because there is a statement in Shastras which says this. This is in purport of Canto 4, Shloka 20, chapter 22, Shloka 5. It says, Yatha yonir yatha bijam. Yatha yoni, Srila Prabhupada is saying, indicates the mother. Yatha bijam indicates the father. If the mental state of the parents is prepared before they want to conceive the child, which they will beget, will certainly reflect their mental condition. And by Garbhadana purificatory process before begetting the children, and thus they begot all their sons according to their desires and purified mental states. This is Prithu Maharaj, right? So the whole aspect of why children are the way they behave now, now we are seeing, highly agitated, they don't listen. The root cause is the parent, not the child. Because here the Shastra says, in whatever mood the child is conceived, that is what is the behavior we are going to see. So this Garbhadana Samskara is to invoke a soul, in such a soul, so that it is going to be a devotee or it is going to be a good, healthy child. And the main aspect of Garbhadana Samskara is the consciousness. So it is said that, if when they are planning for a child, if they can chant, both the mother and father can chant 50 rounds, right? So what will be the state of mind? It will be completely, the mind will be Krishna-sized, right? It will be only of Krishna. So they will attract that kind of soul. Like, we talk of what everybody is talking of, positive energy. Everywhere there is negative energy. Now, what do we attract? We attract what goes through in our mind, right? So if we are into this aspect of Garbhadana Samskara or chanting, right? We may, I don't know, in the four devotees who have joined, there can be youngsters, there can be people who are who have children, who are married and can have children, or they can have friends. If they are in the mood of listening to this aspect, they can be given this advice that they keep their mind very positive, because now you hear, what do we hear? Till the time I delivered, I was working in the office. Today I delivered, till yesterday I was working in the office. Now what is it that you're giving your child? High mode of passion, right? High mode of passion. And then now after it is etched on the, earlier there used to come, CDs used to come. It is almost impossible to erase what is etched on the CD, right? Or what is recorded. Otherwise, if it has to be done, it needs a lot of time and energy and lot of technology. So even before that conception time, if the people who want to conceive and beget children, good Krishna conscious children, this is the mantra that they have to chant 50 rounds at least, each both the father and mother, or at least do the Garbhadana Samskara, or at least keep the environment very positive. Not tell the mother you can keep on working until the delivery and other things. I mean, if there is a possibility, the mother should at least 7th canto Shrimad Bhagavatam, the parents have to read when they are expecting a child and other things, which is what exactly Prahalada heard from Narada Muni. So Prahalad Charitra is read. So I'm giving all this information because we don't know when somebody is in a mood to listen, and then we can give this what is as per the Shastra and how. And then now we see a lot of disturbance in the society, and then we say children don't listen, the youth don't listen, the elders don't listen. Yes. Now we are on totality, I'm saying. I'm not saying the people who have joined here. As a society at large, everybody is in a high mode of passion and ignorance because of Kali Yuga. And then we go on adding to it. And then we we say we are creating such an environment for ourselves, for our children, and for the future of our children also, right? So which is definitely not wanted, right? Neither for us nor for the children. So it is very important for us first to try to be Krishna conscious, and then help others if possible at home. Even if one person in the house is Krishna conscious, it helps so much, because the environment there is not positive, it is transcendental. Like His Holiness Jaipatak Swami Maharaj, he says how important it is for one person to be Krishna conscious. I think in Italy or something, he was giving a lecture, and then he was saying there was a Brahmana who every day, this comes in one of the Shastras, a Brahmana who was every day going to the Ganga, and while bringing water from Ganga, he used to sprinkle the water and he used to go. And this was his daily routine. And in the same village, there was another Brahmana, but he was very, he was very sinful and very rude and very arrogant and all that. And this arrogant Brahmana one day so happened, he was coming on the road, and then he sees a huge bull, with huge horns. He sees a huge bull. And then, so, right opposite to him. Now, he was so arrogant and he was so sinful. He stands there and he says, "Hey, bull, you don't know who I am? Move." Now, obviously, the bull doesn't know who he is. Then it kills him, actually, literally kills him, with horns. It's horns, and then he immediately died. And it is the same path where this Sattvic Brahmana who comes from Ganga. So he comes, and then he's sprinkling water. Then he says, "Oh, who is this?" And then he sprinkles water on this person who is dead on the road, and then he goes. Then in this Brahmana, this Sattvic Brahmana, he goes further. Then he suddenly sees, he sees, someone like Yamadutas, one hand is cut, one head is cut, half cut, and nose. Then they are scolding the Sattvic Brahmana. He says, that Brahmana is saying, "What did I do? I am just taking water from Ganga. I am coming. I'm just sprinkling and I'm coming." He says, "That is exactly. That Brahmana who died there was so sinful. We came to take him, and the moment you sprinkled water, the Vishnu Dutas came, and then this is what they did to us. Just by sprinkling Ganga water on that Brahmana who was a sinful Brahmana." So His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj was relating this story in Italy, and then he was saying, it's not, you should, even if there is one devotee, because one devotee after that shared with him that one of his uncles or somebody, when they passed away, and some place like Italy or in the West, they don't know what it is to, about Ganga or anything. And because one of them was a devotee, he took Ganga water, he sprinkled on that person and other things. And then how that thing got purified. So, in the gist, what I'm trying to say, first of all, even if we are serious in Krishna consciousness, it really helps a lot of people, starting from our families. And then if we can make, others in the family or outside Krishna conscious, it is first going to help us, because Krishna is, sees, okay, because that is the most, someone is most dear to him. As per 18th chapter 67 and 68, he says, one who talks about me to others, Krishna says, they are dear most to me. So by practicing Krishna conscious, first of all, we save ourselves. Like in the flight, they say, you wear the mask first, oxygen mask, and then give others. And then by giving it to others, everybody is safe, right? So that was about Shloka 3. Now we have Shloka 14. Divya Mataji will read the Shloka and Krishnamurti Prabhu will read the translation. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Iti uchim vam statra suyodhanena pravritta kopa spurita darena asatkrita sat sprihaniya shila kshatta sakarna nuja Saubhalena. Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. While speaking thus, Vidura, whose personal character was esteemed by respectable persons, was insulted by Duryodhana, who was swollen with anger and whose lips were trembling. Duryodhana was in company with Krishna, his younger brothers, and his material uncle Shakuni. Hare Krishna.
Maternal uncle.
Maternal. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
okay. Material or maternal. Yeah.
Sorry, Mataji. Hare
Hare Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada, just the first line of purport, it is said that giving good counsel to a foolish person causes the fool to become angry. Right? There is, because I'm from Karnataka, there are some sayings in Kannada, which I, ಮೂರ್ಖನಿಗೆ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಹೇಳುವುದು ಗೋರ್ಕಲ್ಲ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಳೆ ಸೋತಂತೆ ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞ. ಮೂರ್ಖನಿಗೆ ಬುದ್ಧಿ. I mean, you try to give some good advice to a murkha. It's like pouring water on a stone to dissolve the stone. It is so worthless, is what it's saying. So, and then not only that, Duryodhana was not only insulting Vidura, he's insulting a Vaishnava, right? And the reason Prabhupada, in the purport, Prabhupada is saying, and the shloka is saying that because of his association. Now, we have heard enough, and we have to keep hearing how important association is, right? Now, we have all heard many number of times, like we should associate with devotees, we should associate with like-minded people, right? Now, I will touch upon one another aspect which we always associate with, and which is even more dangerous than the external association. Now, I'm talking of our mind. Now, other association, at least, it's like we are there with them for some time and we are there with, but the mind is always with us. There is a book written by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj called Vaishnava Ke, where, it's a very nice book, and translations by, and commentary by Zulnas Jayapatakas Maharaj. If you all can get that book and read. Why I'm saying this is, yes, our mind changes based on the association we have, but after the association, we are associating always with our mind, and our mind is the biggest culprit, right? So, biggest culprit, and mind being the king of senses. Now, if the mind is kind of trained to be in the Sattva Guna, then automatically all the other senses will be in Sattva Guna. So in that book, Vaishnava Ke, I read it quite some time back. It says, what kind of a Vaishnava are you? I mean, it's telling the mind that you're trying to find faults with others. You're trying to, you're thinking you're doing Krishna consciousness, but then how you're trying to cheat yourself. It's all about, and more so now in the present scenario, the thing of work from home. Now you see this aspect of not wanting to socialize. Why socializing becomes a difficulty? Because you have to deal with people, and when you have to deal with people, right, you have to, it's an austerity. Why it's an austerity? Because we have to adjust with what we don't like. It's not that always we are with people whom we like and other things. So after associating with devotees in person, right, it is important to always keep in mind what is our mind doing, right? So, and how does and how are we going to help our mind? Just by Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. One is chanting, and of course the other aspect is reading shastras and to be with the like-minded people. So association with devotees and keeping a mind of our mind. minding what our mind is going through. What is it thinking? What is it, attracted to? And is it pulling us away from what we are not supposed to? It always does that, right? And then how efficiently we are able to keep pulling our mind back to the lotus feet of Krishna or devotees or what we heard in Bhagavatam, right? It's like how the body is nourished by food, the mind should be given a task of only thinking of Krishna. Try it. Let's all try it. Forget one day. Let's all try it for 5 minutes and then see what is the, where we stand. Right? They say after one ages, the willpower reduces. Yes, the willpower reduces because if we are not in Krishna consciousness, the negative thoughts, the negative aspects pulls down, one's energy. When the physical energy is low, the mental energy is also low. So Krishna consciousness in whatever way you take, whether it's for children, for youth, for middle-aged people, for old people, somebody being born, somebody is dying, the one and only answer for everything is Krishna consciousness. Even if you take up the environment, you take up the country, whatever aspect, it's only solution is Krishna consciousness, right? So we will see the last shloka for today. Prashanti Mataji will read the shloka and Momita Mataji will read the translation, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
1 second Mataji. Kayena matropajuhava jihvam dasyasutam yatvalinaiva pushtaha tasmin pratipa parakritya aste nirvasyatamashu puracha vasanaha. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Who asked him to come here, this son of a kept mistress. He is so crooked that he spies in the interest of the enemy against those on whose support he has grown up. Toss him out of the palace immediately and leave him with only his breath. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. You don't even feel like reading this, right? Exactly like how Shishupala, Krishna tolerated 100. Acharyas say if one is not even Krishna, if they are on the sattvic platform, nobody, anybody who hears what Shishupala is blaspheming Krishna, one Acharya says, be like cutting off his tongue. But Krishna just hears because he's given 100. The same way, here Duryodhana, how insulting it is to talk about somebody. And then in the purport, Prabhupada says, even though he calls him as Dasiputra and all these things, he knows how great a person Vidura is, right? But still, the mind and senses are pushing him to behave like this. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says how the Kshatriya kings, were allowed to associate with other youthful girls, and the children born out of them were not given any, they were not allowed to become the king or anything, but then all the maintenance and that is how Vidura was born, right? So he calls him Dasiputra, fine, right? But then, the other things that he adds along with it about Vidura is definitely not worthwhile discussing or listening, because the mind gets really bewildered by such things. And then because of the conditioning, our mind will always go on to that. Like how even if we are talking of the various hells, many acharyas say, let's not discuss too much about hell, because that is what is going to stay in the mind, right? So Duryodhana is showing his character here, like, and then Vidura eventually, this is the last shloka for today. in the shloka afterward, the 16th shloka especially, really glorifies two things. It glorifies. I mean, I'll give a thought for the weekend, which is going to be described on Monday. How exactly we should take these reverses, right? What is it to listen to such things, and how Vidura actually just like how Duryodhana says, you beat him up, that only his breath is there, right? He exactly does that. He just leaves the palace, immediately after that, without a moment, without taking anything, whatever, however he was, he just leaves the palace. And then very beautiful, especially the 16th shloka, and though I'm tempted to talk about it, gives more so, of course, about Vidura's character. And then what I would say is, all of you please read it before you listen to the lecture on Monday. How as practicing devotees, we should take these reverses. Why it should be taken? Because here, if we see, Krishna was there, right? Krishna was there. Then why did Vidura have to go? Like when Krishna, all of us are endeavoring only so that we are going to be with Krishna. Now Krishna is right there. Then he goes. Vidura leaves the palace and goes. He didn't think, oh, Krishna is there. How can I leave his association? Same thing with Kardama Muni. In the third canto, eventually it will come. After his Kapila Muni is born, son to Kardama Muni, even Kardama Muni goes up to forest, right? So, and then quite some time back when I heard this lecture, what is exactly Krishna consciousness? When Devaki and Krishna was born to her, and Krishna tells Vasudeva to take him away. Very beautifully, this Prabhu was saying, Krishna consciousness is, if Krishna wants us to be away from him, then we have to accept it. We have to be, because that is what Krishna wants. Right? Devaki and Vasudeva were away from Krishna, though they were, they did a lot of penance and then they got Krishna as their son. But it was Krishna's will to go away from them for whatever reason. Reasons can be anything. So the whole aspect of Krishna consciousness is what Krishna wants, which is exactly what Vidura also, realizes. If this is what is Krishna is ordaining, then so be it. And then he leaves the palace, and then he realizes why all these things happen. Okay, so with that note, we can close the session today. Thank you all very much for the patient hearing. If there are any comments or any questions, if I'm able to answer, I'll definitely take it. Otherwise,
Mataji, I had one question. Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Yes,
Mataji, I had one question.
Please, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
please.
yeah. I just missed out. What did Kardam Muni give curse to Vidura, and he became from Yamraj to Vidura? Mataji, just tell me this.
Manduka Muni. Manduka Muni.
Manduk Muni, yes, Mataji.
Manduka Muni, as a child, would have, pierced some ants with a sharp blade of grass or something. So he would want to, he will get a punishment to be killed with a sharp spear. So he asks Yamaraja, I am a Muni, why did you? So Yamaraja says, this, you did this as a child. So Manduka Muni says, as a child, I am innocent. I don't know. But then Yamaraja says, the laws of nature is whatever one does, and then this aspect of the parents have to take care what the children are doing.
Yes, Mataji. Yes. I got it, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Divya Mataji. Yes, Divya
Mataji, one question is, I am sorry if I missed that point, but I had this doubt with respect to kids taking the karma of the parents, Mataji. But everybody is born as an individual soul, right, Mataji? They have to go through their karmas by themselves.
kids taking, see if you, that shloka number I forget, in Parikshit Maharaj, curse of Parikshit Maharaj, there in the purport Srila Prabhupada is saying, why, your question is why kids take the karma of the parents, right?
Yes, Mataji.
See, it's not complete, it's not a complete thing. See, now if you take it logically, let's get to Shastras later. Logically, if somebody is doing well in their life as children or as youngsters, they'll say, what is it they'll say? He must have good parents, or they
Good
must have
parenting, yeah.
So when that is accepted, why are we not accepting the bad things also go to the children?
That is nature of human being, right, Mataji?
That is why we need Shastras, because where we have to be, very equipoised, we are not. We want to always take good and not the bad. But then Krishna is not like that. Like I repeated previously also, then what should happen to the bad? Who should take the bad then? Of course,
Okay,
the person who is doing it takes the maximum. But then, there is some amount of the karma which is passed on to the children if the parents don't, kind of.
So is it something kind like a cause and effect, Mataji? They see us and they copy us, and that's how they also go through it.
See about karma in the 4th chapter, Krishna says it is only he who knows. Whatever the Acharya is saying, I'm repeating. Cause and effect, and see, it's a combination. The soul, what is it coming from? The environment. And then, even then, in spite of all that, Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Paritejya. But some, this thing, and then there is also causeless mercy of Krishna.
Right.
He doesn't come with any rider. He says, if somebody, how come suddenly that person got all this? There is no such question with Krishna.
Right.
So, but then all this will help us to be a little more on our toes, to be Krishna conscious and more serious. And definitely we would not want to give all this to our children. So
yes.
Right?
Yes, Mataji, got the point, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Very excellent session as usual, Mataji. Just a couple of doubts which came up is the karma transfer which you were talking about from husband. I've heard this earlier as well, Mataji. But is there any particular reference? Because whenever I quote this, when they ask, I really do not know where what should be quoted.
I should check, Mataji, because even I have heard, and then I'm
from
references. Let me check. We'll check.
Sure, Mataji. And also on the children, enemy, debtor, pious credit.
Pious and
gives you good child, and the last one is what?
Is a devotee. The devotee child. See, a pious child need not take away. He will not stop himself from the cycle of birth and death, nor the parent.
Okay.
So, but a devotee child is the topmost.
Okay, so you may also get a devotee child because of your spiritual activities in your previous janma, so that the child will elevate us. Is that what you meant, Mataji?
Either way. See,
okay. Or
in ISKCON, you see, some parents are devotees, children are not. And children are devotee, parents are not. So, combinations, let's ask Krishna when we go.
Sure, Mataji. And also one more thing I've heard about dreams, Mataji. There are 4 things that will come in the dream. If you remember, because you quote a lot of references. So if you remember, you tell me, or next class, I remember one is God, or another one is a snake, and 2 more I've heard. But do you recall this, Mataji?
No, about dreams, I'm yet to know. I don't know much about dreams.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
No problem.
Hare Krishna.
Suma Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandot Pranam. Mataji, does karma affect the pure devotees also, Mataji?
No, it is not karma which affects the pure devotees. Gauranga Das Prabhu's lectures and other acharyas say, for non-devotees, they go through their full whatever reactions, right? And for practicing devotees, reverses are happened for purification, right? Suppose, say I'm stuck, I'm trying to practice something, but I'm stuck with one anartha very strongly. So Krishna will make that dose a little more stronger. Of course, using my own previous karma's reaction, okay, he will give it in such a way that that anartha is removed for practicing devotees. Yes, it is the purvajita karma of the devotee practicing devotee. But for pure devotees, it is not the karma. They Krishna makes gives such things to pure devotees for us to understand. In spite of all that, how one can be Krishna conscious, right? They are examples personified of how they are practicing that I am not the body, I am the soul, right? If you take Prahalad Maharaj in the scriptures, he is sitting in fire. Forget feeling afraid. He never refused. Imagine if somebody asks me, will you sit in fire? Do we have that conviction as of now? Hiranyakashipu is like, he's saying, how not even a hair I could, a single hair strand I could move. And recently also, when we passing away of Kadambakanana Maharaj, passing away of Srila Prabhupada himself, if you see His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, Jayapataka Swami Maharaj has had 2 transplants, right? And then kidney and liver transplant. And then he has had a stroke. The doctor said he cannot live on it. In fact, in 2008, after the stroke, the amount of travel, amount of lectures he has done is much higher than when he was, when his physical body was completely fit. And there is no time when, when there are interactions. And every day he gives, if we see this, his everyday schedule, it is unbelievable. If you see Bhaktivinoda Thakur's schedule, so pure Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the black magic, that Muni or whatever, he did black magic on Bhaktivinoda Thakur. They all are showing only to tell us how we have to actually be in Krishna consciousness, how we have to always completely depend on Krishna, right? So there, for them, for the pure devotees, no, karma is not what is acting. It is just that Krishna is using them to show us all conditioned souls how we have to actually be on the soul platform rather than the body with that. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. One more doubt, Mataji. Like, was the Devaki Mataji in her previous life, was she Kaikeyi, the wife of Dasharatha Maharaj?
Devaki, I don't know this, Mataji.
Okay. Because in one of the forwarded message I saw, Mataji, like, so they said, why did you put us in separation for 14 years? Yeah. So that really disturbed, like, how can the mother of Lord Krishna undergo such a difficult time?
Yeah, for us it sounds like difficulty, right? See, nobody is away from Krishna at any moment, right? It is only we are bewildered to think we are away from Krishna. Yes, that physical separation is felt, I don't deny, but then at any point of time, nobody is away from Krishna. So, and then of course they are happy with, see, am I more happy if my child wants to eat what I want him to eat or what he wants to eat? When am I more happy, Mataji?
When they want to eat what they want to.
So that is how exactly Krishna, they are happy with what Krishna wants to do, irrespective of.
Krishna is in their heart only. So yes, Mataji. In previous class, Prabhuji said, now I got it. Hare. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Chintamani Prabhu.
Sorry, Mataji. Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah, just a minute, Divya Mataji. Chintamani Prabhu. Yeah, Chintamani Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, now I understand that parenting is subject to the type of parents and children. And the other thing he told that the 4 type of children
who are born, yes.
Yeah, so for example, Hiranyakashipu had a devotee child, but from the parent perspective, how will you understand that he is a devotee? For him, he was an enemy, right? Although Prahlad Maharaj was a devotee, but for him, he was an enemy. right? So how a parent would understand what can.
Where you're asking how Prahlad was born to Hiranyakashipu, or how we have to understand how our children are? What is the question? I'm trying to understand.
How we have to understand. I mean, if I'm a demon and if I have a devotee in my house, for me he's an enemy. For the world view and then for the spiritual people, he could be a devotee, but for me he's an enemy. So how should I do the parenting? Good parenting or whatever it is.
Good parent. Yeah, the first is, lead by example. If we see children, we often think children do what we tell them. No. Children do what we do. Right? So if I have to say as an example, I only think I remember about my grandfather, my father's father, who lived up to 93, 94 years. The only thing I remember about him as a child is that every day, without fail, irrespective of what function, what thing, we lived in a family of 30, a joint family. 30 of us were there together, my dad's brothers and all that. Irrespective of what the situation was in the house, there was not a single day that he did not do Abhishekam to Saligrama. Okay, this is etched in my mind. So if I have to talk about my grandfather, that's the only thing I remember. Of course, other things are there, but this is very strongly etched in my mind, right? So children do what we do. At that moment, they may not do, but then it will definitely, especially when they are going to be parents, it is what we have done is going to be and up to 5 years, they say, up to 5 years, a lot of samskara can be given to the child because it's a clean slate. Even after the child is born, if we are coming to Krishna consciousness, it is not a hopeless condition. I mean, every time there is a hope. So even that first 5 years, if we can give the maximum Krishna consciousness, it is definitely going to be there and it is going to come back. Okay. So we don't have to worry what is our child, is our enemy, better, all that. No, our worry should be, am I Krishna conscious, and in what best ways I can give Krishna conscious to my dependents, not necessarily children, whoever dependent. It can be parents, it can be relatives, it can be children, friends, whatever best possible. Okay. Does that answer the question, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, partly yes, but there are the families who worship demigods. Maybe they have a different, they don't practice Krishna consciousness or spirituality. And in their family, if a devotee is born, I mean, they don't want to change their practice. They want to continue, generation after generation. They don't realize that this child is spiritual, is about Krishna, and what they are practicing, they think, okay, this is the best, and I would like to continue the same. But they are not able to make a right judgment to help child to proceed what he used to do. So they are, the good parenting is in question, right?
Yeah. So for that, we have that knowledge. Whatever, if you are not a parent, you're a grandparent, the best thing you can do is chant for them. Pray to Krishna to give Krishna consciousness to them. It starts from there. You accept the situation, what is there, and what you can best do is, if you are practice Krishna consciousness so strongly, and then beg Krishna, please, we can have this desire. This desire is okay. That make everybody Krishna conscious. It is Bhavanam Janmanam Ante, and Gnanavan Mam Prapadyante, Bhavanam Janman. So because already one devotee is there, that flavor will be there in the family, and each one comes with their own set of karmas. So it will take time. We have to accept that and keep our Krishna consciousness intact. And then whatever possible way, either if there is a possibility to give prasadam, give prasadam. If that is also not possible, just chant for them. Okay. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Mataji, thank you. Because I asked question because I have a practical example. And there was a child, he was just 8 years old. He used to come to our temple, ISKCON temple, and he just don't sit in the house. His father is away always for the livelihood. Mother goes to the different houses for, and then the child doesn't stay at home, just go and roam here and there. But most of the time he will come in the temple, he will apply tilaka. But every alternate day, if mother comes back to home, he's not there. And by the time he comes home, it is already late night. He will get a lot of beatings, and he'll come, he'll show his body. So there was, I mean, she beat like anything, and then without how to,
how to take that, right? Yeah,
help him. So we are planning to help some way or the other, but before we do, the child run away from the house. Now he is no more visible in the
Pray for him, Prabhu. Wherever he is, he doesn't have to be visible to us. You pray wherever, anyway, he is to come to the temple. That means he has joined the mafia of Krishna consciousness. I say mafia because Krishna consciousness, there is only one way street. You can come in, you cannot go out. So pray wherever he is, let him be Krishna conscious. That's the best thing you can do.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Mataji, one more question. Padma Mataji, and I think Divya Mataji also has some doubt. Is it okay, Mataji?
Yeah. Fine, Mataji.
Okay.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Just a short question. You said before conception, how many rounds we have to, the parents should
50.
65 or
65, some say 65.
56, right?
50, I heard. That then somebody else was saying 65. Keep the conscious very Krishna conscious. You will get a Krishna conscious.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Answer.
Yeah.
50
okay,
rounds.
Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Divya Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, with respect to the different children, different type of children we'll incur, the reference I just wanted to know, is it in Bhagavatam reference, Mataji?
I heard it from my Guru Maharaj. Elaborately he was saying, and then in another lecture also, references I should check.
Yeah, because these days, if we say just like that, they don't listen, Mataji. We need to show reference, everything.
I can check on that. We can check.
Yeah, in case you
Thanks
can
for
use
asking it, so that you make me also serious to get the references.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. Dandavad pranams.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for patiently answering so many questions. Anyways, it's always a wonderful session, and like the 1 hour has passed so quickly. So thank you so much. And Padma Mataji, this is the book which Mataji was talking about, Vaishnava Ke, whether it is visible or not.
Not visible. Why it is not?
It is there in Amazon, Mataji.
Yeah.
It is there in
Yes,
Amazon.
yes, Mataji, correct.
So
It is there.
has shared the copy on the group, Mataji, English group. She has shared the film.
Okay, perfect.
So, Mataji,
perfect.
that's better.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So we'll do Vaishnava Pranam, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuveva paditana Vaishnavebhyo
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you,
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavad pranams. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful session, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so
Dandavad
much.
pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Wonderful
Thank you,
class,
everyone.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, we'll meet again on Monday. Hare Krishna. Mataji, shall I end the session? Okay, Hare Bol.